Hello guys, welcome to the next show. This is the Rug Detective show here, just giving you an update of what's happening in the financial markets, really covering aspects in terms of specifically crypto, giving you opportunity, providing you as much information as possible regarding what's happening from the large caps, the altcoins, keeping you out of these scams, these rug pullers, these criminals. So really just giving you as much information as possible. So if you haven't, please make sure you like, subscribe, you follow on Twitter. Here we are at Detectives Rug. Also on YouTube, please feel free to comment. Let me know what your views are regarding the content, any areas that you want me to change, to add, to improve. So let's get straight to it. We're going to take a look at the BTC today. BTC chart. If you look on overall time frame, what we've seen, as I alluded to earlier, there was going to be a pullback that was going to occur. Price shooted up to about 42k level, then it bounced all the way back just above the upward trend line I had. I initially said, if you look at my previous videos, I said that the 32 level would be the first support price for BTC, for Bitcoin. If it can hold there, we could see another test with it by the end of this week. If it fails and breaks through that, we could see a move down to 21 level. It does not mean that if it breaks and gets down to 21 level that the uptrend is over, and this whole move, and 141 to 46,000 estimated by JP Morgan is done. No, you have to be aware that BTC ETH is extremely volatile, so you're going to get swings. This essentially moved, what did it do? It did like a 30% move. It could swing 30%, 50% in a day. So you just need to be aware. You need to ensure that your risk management is in place, and you're doing due diligence, and you're setting these levels prior and anticipating certain potential moves, not just saying, okay, I'm in the trade, I'm looking for it to go up to 50,000. What if it pulls back? What are you going to do? So you need to prepare for all eventualities and really understand the importance of risk management, and then combine it with a fundamental aspect and the technical, as we said a few days ago that the price was actually overbought in terms of the RSI. RSI was literally around 88 level, 96 on the stochastics. It's now pulled back, and it's now around 63, which is very good in terms of price point. So it's not overvalued at the moment. It's not overbought. It's pulled back. I do foresee it moving further down before we get a continuation higher. So let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, we've seen initially a steady move up onto about the 23rd of December. Then we saw a phenomenal price that literally nearly tripled from 500 to just tested just below the previous all-time highs of 1400, failed to break that, and then it basically tested the previous resistance, now turned support. I had this horizontal line in place already. It tested there around the 1000 level, and it's just bounced off it slightly. The question is whether it's going to hold. I would actually now draw in, I've got a trend line here. You can actually probably draw in a upward trend line here. This is more of a steeper trend line here. So this is a steeper trend line, and this is coinciding around right now about 900 would be the support of this trend line. Around the 21st of January it's going to be holding around 1000, so it seems pretty good. I do foresee that this prop market might try and break below and test. The next support would be around 850, which was the previous resistance level, and it could maybe end of January, early Feb, trade around $800 and just oscillate in that range potentially. So this is something to be aware of. Before, ETH was actually undervalued. It was only trading a week ago, it was trading around 50% of the previous highs. It's now moved and tested just below the previous high. We saw high overbought in the RSI was about 88, so that's extremely overbought. It's now pulled back into the range, which is very good. So it shows that people have taken some profits off the table. and then reassessing the situation to see where the next potential entries are. So that's something to look at. Now let's just take a look at some news very quickly. It basically said CNBC said $170 billion wiped off the market in 24 hours. We're aware of that. You know, these things, like I said, volatility is at its highest point right now in terms of the moves that can take place. So one needs to be aware of that, having risk management in place. Basically saying that cryptocurrency's 11% drop. I do foresee it moving lower. JP Morgan basically said that price can hit 146,000. I still see that probably towards the end of the year, early next year, but it will probably oscillate. What also tends to happen is that when there's so much news, there's a saying, when the taxi driver starts talking about an investment, you know it's a bit too late. When a friend you haven't spoken to for years that you never discuss about investment start talking about BTC, you know, okay, you need to be slightly concerned in terms of that, the top in the price. So what's basically happened is people are literally buying at those highs in price, and now it's just basically topped out, you know, 43, 44, those levels, and it's just flushed out all those people that got in at the high, and prices basically move lower. We're now seeing also, just want to give you information about Solana SOL trading volume source as DeFi seeks Ethereum alternatives. We're hearing a lot about this in terms of people are looking for whether it's Cosmos, whether it's Polkadot, fast scalable alternatives, and Solana's really hit all-time highs. And this is interesting to see whether people are going to transition away from. I always say that you hear a lot about these new DeFis. However, ETH, Ethereum, they have extremely strong and robust development community. So it's very tough to be able to transition to get people that will switch something like that, especially now that the price has actually moved accordingly. So it showed a lot of confidence in people. But ETH2 is steadily rolling out. They're rolling out ETH2, layer 2 projects are really coming to it. So we'll see how Solana manifests within the next year or so. It was founded by this chap, designer team of former engineers from, you know, well-known companies such as Dropbox, Qualcomm, Sense of Resistance, blockchain, open infrastructure, looking for this adoption. So Bankman-Fried claims to have thoroughly tested more than 30 of the top projects, including ETH, before settling on Solana in the past. He referenced the network's ability to process 50,000 transactions per second. So this is things to look at to see in terms of what's the transactions per second that can process. Would it be clogged up? It'll be interesting to see once, if there is a movement towards Solana, how will it deal? Will it still be processing those amount of transactions per second, or would it be clogged up? Would the fees also increase? So these are things to be aware of. So that's that. Let's take a look at the overall market of where we see here. Obviously Bitcoin, BTC, now the dominance is about 67.7, dropped slightly lower. Tether, XRP, 25% over the last 7 days, so it's just above that 20 cent bottomed out. We're bottomed out. Then we've got Binance Coin 3.5% lower. Then we've got Wrapped. So that's where we are today, guys, and essentially I basically added some information as a bit of a tweet. We've been following the transactions of this wallet. So this is basically a wallet that has $300 million in DeFi protocol. We were basically tracking the wallet just to see if there's any movement. So let's just keep an eye to see what's happening. So 2 hours ago we can see where some transactions that were taking place that left this specific wallet. So let's just see here that basically moved into one wallet. We've got moved into USD, so it's going into dollar denominated one, went into value liquid compound dollar coin. So you can actually see the last few hours it was moving out and going into some lending protocols, going into dollar. So I think just due to the, you know, clearly what's happening with the price, it's good to be able to see where it was moving into. So value liquidity provider, VLP. So just really tracking the movement of this large wallet. And then I mentioned also that still can't believe that people are still buying shitcoins, especially with a name called STD. That was a shitcoin that launched in Uniswap yesterday, and ultimately I think it's a P&D, a pump and dump that occurred. Totally crashed when I looked yesterday. So even though there's still volume, it's just insane where the people are still looking to put money in these projects. You know, look at this, 0.3 of an ETH, that went in 0.1 of an ETH, just absolutely insane. So anyway guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow, comment, and we'll keep giving you as much value as possible. I'll speak to you soon.